In the beginning of this drama, we see a hospital where a woman was brought in a very bad condition. The doctors were trying to save her. Meanwhile, her soul had already left her body and was telling the doctor, "Hey, what's the need to save her? Let it be." This woman's name is Hwan and she is the female lead of our drama. Now we are told about Hwan. Actually, she has turned 37 and still does various part-time jobs. The poor woman is very troubled. On top of that, today when she was doing a part-time job of being a squid mascot, the police arrived and took her away. Hwan kept asking what happened, but no one told her anything, and she was locked in jail. Then she sees another guy being put in the cell next to her. This guy was saying, "Hey, really, I'm not a pervert. You people are misunderstanding me." But he too was locked inside the cell. Hwan was also scared of him. The guy said, "Oh madam, don't misunderstand me. I'm not a pervert. His name is Yoo-hyun." Now we are told about Yoo-hyun, who is our male lead. He is actually a rich prince who only knows how to blow his dad's money. He doesn't know how to earn it. Today his dad tells him, "Stop it now. You only waste money. The amount you waste in a week, I'll give you a month. Can you earn that money for me?" Yoo-hyun says, "Dad, why give me a month? I can earn that money for you in just 1 week." His dad says, "Really? And what if you fail?" Yoo-hyun replies, "Then you can throw me out of the house." Now, proudly carrying his certificates, Yoo-hyun goes out thinking he will surely get a job, but he doesn't get work anywhere. And since he had to earn money, Yoo-hyun starts giving massages to people. The poor guy tries his best to earn money through massages. His shoulders are almost falling off, but he manages to collect only a few pennies. He goes to his dad to give him the money. But his uncle says, "What is this? Take off your clothes and get out of here. I won't even let you take these expensive clothes." Yoo-hyun aunt says, "Brother, leave it. He's your own son." But the uncle doesn't listen and throws Yoo-hyun out. Yoo-hyun runs away, left with only half-torn clothes. When he goes out on the road dressed like that, the police assume he is a pervert and lock him up. For now, Hwan was scared of him inside the lockup. Yoo-hyun says, "Oh auntie, no need to fear me. This coat is very expensive. I really belong to a rich family. I'm not a pervert." Meanwhile, a very stylish guy enters the police station. His name is Anthony, and he is an actor. Hwan recognizes him. Actually, some time ago, during one of his movie shoots, Hwan had gone there to take photos. Anthony mistakenly thought she clicked his embarrassing photo. In anger, he broke her camera, which belonged to her dad. Hwan got very angry, and to take revenge, she started posting bad comments under every video of Anthony. Because of this, Anthony filed a complaint against her, and that is why Madam is in the lockup. The officer says, "Your case isn't a big one. Solve it by talking." So Anthony and Hwan apologize to each other and end the matter. Now Hwan comes out of the lockup and is about to leave, when Yoo-hyun says, "Auntie, please give me your squid hat. I'll hide my face and save whatever dignity I have left." Hwan gives him the squid hat and leaves. A little later, Yoo-hyun's sister-in-law, his cousin's wife, comes to get him out. She says, "Enough is enough. Go apologize to your dad and come back home." Yoo-hyun says, "Why should I apologize? What did I do wrong?" He refuses to apologize. Later, Yoo-hyun goes to a restaurant. Hwan was also there. Yoo-hyun says, "Oh auntie, you're here?" Hwan says, "Pervert, you're here?" Yoo-hyun says, "How many times should I say, auntie, I'm not a pervert?" Yoo-hyun goes to sit at another table, and Hwan is there for a blind date. But the guy who arrives looks at her and says, "In the photo, you looked much older." He eats and leaves. Hwan wonders why this always happens to her. What happened to her luck? From afar, Yoo-hyun also notices she is very upset. Meanwhile, it's time for Yoo-hyun to pay his bill. But he sees that all his cards have been frozen. He even calls his family members, but not a single person picks up the phone. Yoo-hyun tells the staff, "You can keep my shoes. They are very expensive. And whatever amount remains after deducting the bill, you can keep that too." But the hotel staff thinks he has gone crazy. Since Yoo-hyun had no other option, he goes to Hwan and says, "Please auntie, give me some money." Hwan starts getting scared of him. Yoo-hyun says, "Why are you scared of me? Please, please auntie, help me." When he keeps saying please, Hwan's heart melts, and she gives him the money. Later, Hwan goes outside and starts drinking. She sees Yoo-hyun sitting far away, looking at her. She thinks the poor guy must be thirsty, so she goes and gives him a can drink. Yoo-hyun says, "Auntie, don't worry. I will return your money along with this." Hwan starts to leave. Suddenly, a truck appears in front of her. She freezes and remembers her 17-year-old self. In the past, she used to be very bold. She was the boss and everyone followed her orders. She was very active and intelligent. She wanted to become a dancer. But what has become of her today? Now we see the same hospital scene shown at the beginning of the story. Hwan regains consciousness in the hospital. When the nurse asks her name and date of birth, Hwan tells her details. And on the bed next to her, another patient tells the exact same name and date of birth. Hwan looks at that patient and is shocked because she is the same 17-year-old Hwan from 20 years ago. She says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" The younger Han-I replies, "Who are you, auntie? And how do you know me?" Past Hwan did not recognize present Hwan, but present Hwan recognized 17-year-old Han-I. She keeps asking, "How can you be here?" The doctors think present Hwan has gone crazy and take her away. Meanwhile, young Han-I leaves the hospital and bumps into Yoo-hyun. Yoo-hyun sees young Han-I and says, "You look familiar." Young Han-I asks him, "Uncle, where can I find a phone booth?" Yoo-hyun says, "Little girl, what era are you from? There are no phone booths these days." Young Han-I can't understand what is going on and why everything looks so strange. She watches TV and sees her favorite actress looking very old. She says, "What happened to her all of a sudden? Why does she look so old?" Yoo-hyun says, "Little girl, when was the last time you watched TV?" Then he says, "Why am I even talking to you?" and leaves. Then young Han-I notices today's date and is shocked to see that she has come 20 years into the future. She remembers Hwan asking her, "How did you come here?" She immediately runs to present Hwan. Present Hwan explains to young Han-I, "I am 37-year-old Hwan, and you are 17-year-old Hwan. We are the same person." Then she asks, "Tell me, how did you come here from the past?" Young Han-I says, "I don't know. But first, tell me, what have you done to my face? I am so beautiful and you ruined my looks in 20 years. Hwan says, "Forget all that. Let's get out of here first." She tries to take young Han-I out of the hospital so that no one sees them. But again, they bump into Yoo-hyun. Yoo-hyun says, "Oh auntie, where are you running? I saved your life. Look how injured my hand is. At least give me some money so I can pay my hospital bill." Hwan says, "Fine, I will give you money, but first help me get out of here." Yoo-hyun helps them escape. Young Han-I doesn't want to go with present Hwan and tries to go on her own, but everything is different because she has come 20 years ahead. Somehow, present Hwan finds her and takes her home. Young Han-I is very happy to see the house. She says, "Fine, you ruined my looks, but at least you built a nice house." But when she comes out after changing, she sees Hwan wearing maid clothes. She asks, "What are you doing?" Hwan says, "This isn't my house. It's my elder sister's house." Young Han-I is shocked because in childhood, she used to dominate, not her sister. Her elder sister used to be scared of her. But now it's the opposite. Her elder sister has made her work as a maid in her own house. Young Han-I asks, "What did you do to my life in these 20 years? Just then, their elder sister Mei comes home, and Hwan hides young Han-I so that she won't be recognized. For now, Mei doesn't see young Han-I. But later, young Han-I causes trouble, and Mei throws Hwan out of the house for the night. Hwan takes the blame to protect young Han-I. She stands outside sadly, and young Han-I also sneaks out. Both of them go to stay at a sauna. Later, present Hwan thinks she should get her money back from that guy. She calls Yoo-hyun, as he had given her his phone number, and says, "I need my money. Return it." Yoo-hyun says, "What? You're at the sauna? I'm coming right now." He arrives there with all his things not to return the money, but to stay there. Yoo-hyun says, "Auntie, I have no money. Can I stay here too?" Hwan says, "What did you say?" Yoo-hyun says, "It's all because of you that my hand isn't working properly. Look how it keeps shaking. Think about me a little. Let me stay here." Hwan once again feels pity and lets him stay with them. And then what happens? Han's royal prince behavior begins. He says, "Auntie, who eats only eggs? You should have ordered chicken too." Young Han-I keeps glaring at him angrily. Yoo-hyun says, "What? Why are you staring at me?" Young Han-I gets up and leaves. Then Yoo-hyun asks Hwan, "By the way, does this girl always stay with you? Who is she?" "Auntie, is she your daughter or your younger sister?" Hwan says, "Mind your own business." The next day, when Hwan goes to her part-time job, she finds out she has been fired. They blame her and say, "Because of you, the company's reputation has been ruined. You created such a big mess." Actually, it wasn't her mistake at all. Still, the poor woman goes to apologize, hoping they will give her job back. Young Hanai watches all this and can't tolerate it. She scolds present Hwan, saying, "Don't you have any self-respect? What have you done to me? Look at me. 20 years ago, I was so confident. And now, ever since I came here, all I see is you apologizing to everyone, whether it's your fault or not." After hearing so much, present Hwan finally replies, "Yes, I am like this. If you have a problem, then go away from here." They argue and separate from each other. But after wandering around for a while, present Hwan comes to get young Hanai and says, "Come on, let's go. No one here knows you anyway." On the other side, Yoo-hyun goes to his dad's company that day. He meets his cousin and says, "I need a job here." Later, Yoo-hyun is standing outside the company building. His dad sees him and asks, "Useless boy, what are you doing here?" Yoo-hyun says, "Why, father? Do you think this land belongs only to you? I came here for a walk. Can't I walk here?" His dad replies, "Yes, this land is also mine. You can't walk here." Yoo-hyun says, "All right, go to your work. I need to go to my job. I've been hired." He proudly lies to his dad and leaves. After he leaves, his dad laughs, saying, "This foolish boy will never change." Meanwhile, both Hwans are looking for ways to send the younger Hanai back to the past. While searching, they even go to a scientist and ask, "Do you have a time machine lying around? We need to send her back to the past. She came from there." The scientist immediately gives them a mental hospital's number and says, "Madam, please contact here." Seeing their behavior, anyone would think they're crazy. Now present Hwan needs money, and when she tries calling Yoo-hyun to ask for her money back, he doesn't pick up the phone. She gets very worried, thinking how to find Yoo-hyun, so she hires some local goons to locate him. They reach Han's hotel and demand that he return Hwan's money. Yoo-hyun says, "Wow, that auntie is really sharp." As soon as Hwan hears about it, she also reaches the hotel. Yoo-hyun sees her and says, "Auntie, you didn't do the right thing. You should check your phone. I already sent you your money." Hwan checks, and yes, the money had already arrived. She apologizes to Yoo-hyun. Even the goons apologize and leave. But Yoo-hyun says to Hwan, "Auntie, I never thought you'd be like this. Anyway, there's no need to meet me again." Hwan feels bad because she was wrong, so she stops him again and apologizes. She had left some belongings at the sauna, so she returns them to him. While returning the items, a keyring falls out. Hwan says, "This is mine." Yoo-hyun says, "Hey auntie, this is mine." Hwan says, "No, this was lost many years ago. My dad gave it to me." Yoo-hyun remembers that many years ago, Hwan had saved him from some boys, and her keyring had fallen there. When Yoo-hyun asked her name back then, Hwan said, "I am a superhero." Yoo-hyun realizes, so she is that superhero. He says to her, "You can keep it. But since I found your keyring, you have to treat me. We can meet again." Next, it is shown that Hwan decides she will get her job back through protest. She goes to the headquarters of the company she worked for and starts dancing and protesting. Young Hanai joins her. This company actually belongs to Yoo-hyun's dad. Yoo-hyun's dad goes to the cafeteria to eat. An assistant says to him, "Sir, that's enough. How much more will you take?" He looks closely and sees that the assistant is actually his own son, Yoo-hyun. He asks, "What are you doing here?" Yoo-hyun says, "I have so many certificates. At least I can get an assistant job here." His dad tells him, "Go away. You can't do this job." Yoo-hyun says, "Dad, why don't you ever let me do any work?" His dad says, "If you can stay and work here for 100 days, I will let you come back home." Yoo-hyun says, "Dad, you said it. Now don't go back on your word." Meanwhile, Hwan is very happy because today she did not bow down to anyone. She fought for her rights. She happily reaches home with young Hanai, dancing and singing. But her sister sees them together. Hwan had forgotten she needed to hide young Hanai. Her sister says, "Hwan, how did you hide from everyone that you have such a grown-up daughter?" Hwan has no idea what to say. But young Hanai takes over and says, "Auntie, please forgive my mom. We didn't tell you anything." Hwan is shocked, wondering what is happening. Then the elder sister says, "I won't tell mom anything, but you two can't stay in my house. Get out." Hwan silently agrees. But young Hanai is not the type to stay quiet. She goes straight to the sister, who is now technically her auntie, and says, "Auntie, we will leave, but my mom has washed dishes and scrubbed floors here for years. Who will pay for that? And, don't forget, no one knows that you're bald in the middle, so you better settle this properly." Now the elder sister calls both of them to meet, and after that, Hwan gives her money and says, "The account is settled. Now both of you get out of my sight." Hwan says, no, elder sister, we don't need money. But when she sees the amount, she starts dancing with happiness because the amount was quite large enough for both of them to buy a small house for themselves. So now they get a new house for themselves because they got it at a very cheap price. Now later, Hwan gets a call from Yoo-hyun and he tells her, Auntie, did you forget? You have to give me a treat. Hwan says, right now I don't have time because I just shifted to a new place. Yoo-hyun heard the address of that new place, so he starts asking around about that neighborhood and reaches there himself. He also rents a room there so he can live in the same neighborhood. Now whenever they run into each other in the neighborhood, Yoo-hyun says, oh auntie, you live here too. I've been living here for a long time. Hwan understood he was lying. Anyway, Hwan goes to the nearby store for shopping. Then the store auntie tells her, girl, the house you moved into. I heard a ghost lives there. That's why it wasn't selling. Maybe that's why you got it cheap. Now both of them start panicking and return home scared. At night, they sleep being frightened. Next day, finally Hwan's hard work paid off and the uncle gave her a job inside the company again. This time she got a desk job. Hwan was very happy and went to buy new clothes for herself. On the other hand, uncle had kept an eye on Yoo-hyun. And truly, Yoo-hyun wasn't going to survive this job for 100 days. Above that, he finds out his dad has assigned his secretary to follow him. So he catches the secretary and says, you know who I am, right? I'm your boss's son. If not today, I'll return home someday. Then what will happen to you? It's better you work for me. The poor secretary gets scared of Yoo-hyun and now starts doing all the work for Yoo-hyun while Yoo-hyun enjoys. Now today was Hwan's first day at the office. Yoo-hyun had asked his secretary to bring him coffee. When the secretary was carrying the coffee, he accidentally spilled it on Hwan. Her first day was ruined because her clothes were dirty. But what could she do? She still had to go inside the office like that. Yoo-hyun's sister-in-law sees Hwan and is shocked to see her there. Even though Hwan came wearing a suit, they still gave her petty tasks like, go bring this and go bring lunch. Now Hwan goes to bring rice cakes for everyone. She is returning with the rice cakes when she bumps into Yoo-hyun and all the rice cakes fall down. Yoo-hyun was happy to see her. Oh, auntie, you're here? Looks like we work at the same place. See, destiny connection. But Hwan gets angry. Because of you all my rice cakes fell. Now how will I face everyone inside? She goes back to the shop, but by then the rice cakes were sold out. She has to return to the office empty-handed. She is apologizing to everyone when Yoo-hyun arrives with rice cakes. Her sister-in-law is shocked to see that Yoo-hyun brought them. Actually, nobody recognizes Yoo-hyun there because nobody knows he is the chairman's son. We also see that Yoo-hyun went straight into the kitchen and made the rice cakes himself. Even the chef was shocked watching him. We learn that Yoo-hyun has chef training. Meanwhile, Yoo-hyun Han's sister-in-law asks Hwan, you're here. But Hwan doesn't recognize her. She says, my name is Malin. We studied in the same class. Hwan becomes happy, oh Malin, it's you. But Malin isn't happy at all seeing Hwan. She wants to ask, how do you know Yoo-hyun? Hwan says, oh that boy? He borrowed money from me. That's why I know him. Malin understands that Hwan doesn't know he is the chairman's son. Hwan's life troubles were not reducing. Again, little Hani created trouble which caused Big Sister to suffer. Big Sister comes to Hwan and says, why don't you both stop troubling me? You know why I don't like you? Because 20 years ago Dad left us forever because of you. Hwan remembers. 20 years ago she insisted on going to an audition. And that day, while saving her, her dad died. Now Hwan remembers all this and cries heavily. Next day in the office, Hwan eats in the canteen with other employees. Yoo-hyun purposely gives Hwan extra food. Auntie, eat this. You should eat this too. Everyone is watching, wondering why he's giving her so much food. Even Hwan cannot understand. Meanwhile, we see Anthony. He is searching for his first love, but he can't find her anywhere. Later, Hwan had to go somewhere for office work. She tries to stop a taxi, but can't find one. Yoo-hyun sees this and arranges a car using his dad's secretary. He says, Auntie, where do you want to go? Come, I'll help. Hwan has no other option, so she sits in Yoo-hyun's car. Yoo-hyun helps her with the work. While returning, he asks, Auntie, I heard that girl who always follows you. She called you mom that day. Is she really your daughter? Tell me, where is your husband? I've never seen him. Hwan says, yes, she's my daughter. And you don't need to know anything else. Later that night, Hwan and little Hanai get scared again because strange sounds were coming from the house. They don't know anyone in the neighborhood, so they go call Yoo-hyun. Yuhyun comes to check the house, but finds nothing. Then Yuhyun stands close to Hwan and says, "Auntie, it's late at night and very cold. Wear warm clothes or you'll catch a cold. I'm leaving now. If you hear any other sound, call me." Next day at the office, Hwan attends the team dinner. She drinks a bit too much and starts singing and dancing while returning. Yuhyun sees her and asks, "Auntie, is that you? Why are you dancing so much? Did you win a lottery?" Hwan says, No, you can dance with me too. Actually, I've started becoming confident like before. That's why I'm very happy." Yuhyun also becomes happy for her. But after a while, Hwan starts fainting. So Yuhyun gives her a piggyback ride. Hwan says, "My dad used to carry me like this too." Yuhyun says, "So auntie, tell me, do you want to spin around one more time?" On the other side, Anthony had found out that his first love lived right here in the Hwan neighborhood. Meanwhile, when Yuhyun took Hwan back home, little Hanai asked, "Hey uncle, what's going on? You brought my mom home in this condition. Did you both go on a date? Do you like my mom? Tell me quickly." Yuhyun said, "What did you say?" "That I like auntie." Just then Hwan stood up and said, "I'll tell you," and immediately threw up all over Yuhyun. On the other side, Anthony reached the house of his first love after searching for it. He knocked on the gate and walked straight inside. He saw Yuhyun sitting there and was shocked. Yuhyun asked him, "Who are you, brother? What are you doing here?" Just then little Hanai came out and Anthony said, "Hwan." Actually, his first love was none other Hwan herself. Yuhyun said, "Hey, this is not Hwan, this is her daughter. Hwan is lying over there. But how do you know her?" Anthony looked at Hwan and felt dizzy because she was the same girl he had once gotten locked up in jail. Grown-up Hanai got up and said, "Hey Anthony, our score was settled that day, right?" And then she spit mouthwash right on his face. Poor guy almost fainted, wondering what was happening, what had happened to the little Hwan from his childhood. Shocked, he went back. Then little Hanai brought Yuhyun a tracksuit. Yuhyun said, "Because of your mom, my expensive suit got ruined. Get it dry cleaned and return it to me. By the way, that boy who just came, how does he know your mom?" Hanai said, "Oh, Anthony? He used to study with me in school." Yuhyun said, "What?" Little Hanai said, "I mean, he used to study with my mom in school." Yuhyun said, "You really look like your mom. I met auntie once when I was little." Hani asked when. Yuhyun replied, "Once auntie saved my life and said she was a superhero." Little Hanai said, "Oh, so you're that crybaby boy?" Hwan said, "Not for now." Then she asked, "Are you going to participate?" Yuhyun said, "Yes, I have to. I need money." When Hwan reached home, she saw little Hanai had lit candles on the table and was praying some mantra for rain. She believed that since her mom returned on a rainy day, if it rained again, she might leave again. Hwan was very worried for little Hanai, but she herself had endless problems. Hanai made a small mistake at work again, and Ling shouted at her badly. Ling said, "You don't even deserve a place in this team. You're not capable." She insulted her a lot, and it hurt Hwan deeply. With Yuhyun's help, she solved the immediate problem, but she wanted to prove that she had value. That's why she decided to participate in the competition and told Ling that she would win it and prove her worth. Meanwhile, the chairman discovered his office chair was missing. Then he found out that his beloved son had taken the chair to the kitchen. Yuhyun was sitting on it, telling the secretary, "Now watch how I take revenge on that old man. From now on, you and I are a team, and we will win this competition. I'll bring that old man down to the streets. Everything will be mine soon." The chairman watched all this drama from afar and was irritated. Then Hwan arrived. She thanked Yuhyun for helping her and took him for a thank you dinner. There she told him she was also entering the competition. She asked, "Will you be my teammate?" Yuhyun got worried. Auntie was asking him directly, but he had already promised 3 to 4 people that he would be on their team and help them win. Still, he said, "Auntie, don't worry. From now on, you and I are a team. We will win the competition." And he messaged all the others, "I'm not in your team anymore. Everyone handle your own stuff." After dinner, while returning home, Yuhyun asked Hwan, "Did you have some kind of relationship with Anthony in school, auntie?" Hwan said, "Oh no. There was nothing between me and Anthony." After hearing this, Yuhyun finally felt relieved that there was nothing between Anthony and Hwan. The next day, Hwan had to go for volunteer service as punishment. Actually, she had made comments against Anthony, and because of that, she got this punishment. Hwan took little Hanai with her. When they reached the volunteer service location, they saw that Yoo-hyun was also there. Hwan asked Han, "What are you doing here?" Yoo-hyun remembered when Anthony told him that he and Hwan used to date. Out of jealousy, Yoo-hyun had also made mean comments, and now he was also serving his punishment. But he didn't tell this to Hwan and simply said, "Auntie, who doesn't make mistakes? I'm here because of my punishment too." Not just Yoo-hyun, Anthony was also there, and seeing Yoo-hyun working, Anthony was having a great time. After completing the punishment, all of them sat together for dinner at night. Anthony enjoyed the food so much that he kept stuffing himself. Some time later, the cleaning lady came and asked, "Who among you went to the toilet?" Someone blocked the entire toilet. Anthony started panicking. He was the one who got diarrhea from overeating and ended up blocking the toilet. Everyone started saying, Anthony went last. Poor Anthony was terrified because everyone started making bad comments about him. But then Hwan said, "Actually, I went to the toilet and it got blocked because of me." After this, Anthony looked at Hwan with eyes full of love, as if an angel had descended from heaven to save him. While returning, Anthony said, "Let me drop you home." Yoo-hyun purposely sat in Anthony's car and said, "I'm also going the same way. Give me a lift too." Throughout the ride, Anthony kept looking at Hwan happily, and Yoo-hyun kept dozing off saying, "Drive fast, I'm sleepy." When they reached home, Hwan and little Han-I went inside. But Anthony kept smiling at her, and seeing this, Yoo-hyun became jealous. Anthony called out, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" Hwan invited him upstairs. Yoo-hyun also followed them. Anthony said, "Why are you coming up?" Yoo-hyun said, "Auntie, I also need to discuss something about the competition with you." So Hwan called him upstairs too. Hwan and little Han-I went inside, but Anthony stopped Yoo-hyun outside and asked, "Tell me clearly, do you like Hwan?" Yoo-hyun said, "What did you say? That I like Auntie?" "Yes, so what if I like her?" Just then, they heard the girls screaming inside. They both ran in and saw the entire house in a mess. It meant someone had been inside. Suddenly, the lights went out and they saw a figure in the house. Hwan said, "Quick, pick up garlic. There must be a ghost woman here." All four of them grabbed garlic in fear and started chasing the ghost. The ghost woman ran ahead, and they followed with garlic. They finally caught her. She wasn't a ghost, she was the daughter of the landlady. Talking to her revealed that she didn't want her mom to rent this house to anyone. She wanted to turn it into her studio. That's why she had been scaring everyone who tried to live here. After listening to her, they let her go. Next morning, Yoo-hyun came to pick up Hwan early and said, "Auntie, wake up quickly. We have to go make a new dish for the competition." Hwan went with Han. Some time later, Anthony arrived at her home with coffee for her. But little Han-I was alone there. She said, "You came again so early to annoy me? Mom isn't here." She went early in the morning with that tall man for the competition. Hearing this, Anthony became jealous. Meanwhile, the chairman found out that his useless son was participating in the competition with Hwan. He was actually happy to hear this, because he liked Hwan and felt his son was finally improving. On the other side, Hwan's mom and grandmother had come from the village to her elder sister Yuji's house. They called her to visit because the grandmother wanted to see her. But the grandmother had dementia. When Hwan visited, her grandmother didn't recognize her and kept saying, "I want to meet Hwan." Little Han-I found out that her grandmother was there and also wanted to meet her. So she went to Yuji's house without telling anyone and secretly entered her grandmother's room. Grandmother was sleeping at first, but as little Han-I was about to leave, Grandma woke up and started calling her Han-I. Little Hani was very happy to meet her. As she was about to leave, Grandma gave her a charger and said, "Charge your phone. You never answer it." Little Han-I took the charger and left, but then she ran into her mother. Auntie was shocked because the girl looked exactly like her Hwan. She called her Hwan, but little Han-I hid her face and ran away. Auntie was confused, wondering who that girl was who looked exactly like her Hwan. Meanwhile, Anthony today. He had gone to his old school. After going there, he remembered that somewhere, he too was responsible for Hwan's father's death. Just then, Hwan's mom comes to meet him. At that time, Hwan had hidden little Han-I. But Auntie comes and asks, "I saw a girl at your house who looked just like you. Who is she?" So Hwan makes an excuse saying, "She is my friend's daughter. She just looks a little bit like me." For now, Auntie believes her words and leaves from there. Then little Han-I tells Hwan, "Grandma gave me this old phone's charger." Actually, when little Han-I came from the past, she had brought her old phone with her, but it had been off for a long time because she didn't have a charger. But now little Han-ai puts that phone on charging. Then she asks Hwan, I saw mom, grandma, everyone. But where is dad? Little Han-ai didn't know that her dad had already died. So Hwan lies. Dad works out of town. That's why he comes very rarely. On the other side, the chairman is shown remembering something. The doctor had told him, you should inform your family that your eye condition is not good. Very soon you are going to lose your sight. Now the next morning scene is shown. Hwan sees little Han-ai going somewhere early in the morning, so she stops her and asks where she is going. Then Hwan finds out that little Han-ai has signed a contract with Anthony to become an idol. But Hwan says this can't happen because she has come from the past. After this, Hwan goes to Anthony to cancel the contract. But just then the director arrives and says they need 2 people, and after seeing Hwan and little Han-ai, he says they are perfect for the role. Now little Han-ai insists, please, at least once, let me do modeling. So Hwan agrees. After this, when Hwan gets ready and comes out, Anthony keeps staring at her. Actually, this photoshoot was a family concept photoshoot and Anthony was made Hwan's husband. Then he starts acting crazy with happiness. Because of this photoshoot, both little Han-ai and Hwan were happy too. On the other side, Yoo-hyun goes to his home. His dad says, why did you come here? Yoo-hyun replies, I didn't come to meet you, I came to meet my cousin. But actually, Yoo-hyun had brought a t-shirt for his dad with his first salary. In front of Han, the chairman doesn't react at all, but after Yoo-hyun leaves, he becomes happy. Meanwhile, when Aunt goes to see Yoo-hyun off, she says, forget this competition, I'll send you on a trip. But Yoo-hyun says, no Aunt, this time I must participate in the competition. After Yoo-hyun leaves, the color of Aunt's face fades, like she didn't like that at all. Now finally the day of the competition comes. Yoo-hyun and Hwan had decided that Hwan would give the presentation on stage. While Hwan is giving the presentation, a call comes on that old phone, and little Han-ai gets scared. How can there be a call on this phone when it came with me from the past? She is about to receive the phone when her older sister Mei arrives at the house, so little Han-ai cannot pick up the call. Meanwhile, Hwan and Han's presentation goes very well. The results hadn't come yet, but both were very confident. So they go out for dinner to celebrate at night. Here Yoo-hyun says to them, your daughter looks exactly the way you looked in high school. Hwan asks, when did you see me in high school? Yoo-hyun replies, Superman. I am the same boy whom you saved. Hwan doesn't remember anything. So many years had passed. But little Han-ai takes her aside before her lie gets caught and says, he is the same boy whose life we saved once. Now Hwan remembers everything. Next, they see on the news that it is going to rain today. Immediately both rush out to go to the shaman. Yoo-hyun is confused. Are you too crazy? Just because it's going to rain you're leaving. But the matter was different. Both had talked to a shaman earlier. The day it rains, he would send the past Han-ai back to the past. Hwan tells little Han-ai, I think it's time for you to go back. Meanwhile, the shaman is calling Hwan's phone, but her phone was left with Han. Yoo-hyun receives the call and the shaman says without listening to anything, don't bring the girl from the past here. She is in danger. Now Yoo-hyun's mind starts racing. Who is this girl from the past? He finds little Han-ai's behavior strange, and all the things start making sense to him. Meanwhile, both Hwan and Han-ai's meet with an accident. The next scene is in the hospital. Both are on the hospital beds and Yoo-hyun is also there. Soon Hwan regains consciousness and sees Yoo-hyun. She immediately asks, where is little Han-ai? Yoo-hyun replies, you're talking about the girl who came from the past? She is fine too. Hwan is shocked and asks, how do you know about this? Yoo-hyun points toward the shaman who is standing there. The shaman tells Hwan, there is still danger on that girl. Keep her at home. And there is only one reason she has come here. Someone desperately wants to meet her. Someone needs her. Later Hwan thanks Yoo-hyun for helping again. Yoo-hyun says, take care of yourself. I won't tell anyone about this. Even if I did, no one would believe me anyway. On the other side, the chairman tells his nephew Ming about his illness and warns him not to tell anyone, not even Yoo-hyun. Meanwhile, Mei is thinking, I don't think little Han-ai is Hwan's daughter. So who is she? She starts overthinking. Here Hwan tells little Han-ai that Yoo-hyun has found out she came from the past. We learn that Yoo-hyun's dad's secretary, who listens to Yoo-hyun, is actually working with Yoo-hyun's aunt, and aunt is planning something. Aunt even goes to her daughter-in-law Lin-hwa and after scaring her a bit, says, you will have to do something for me. At night, Lin-hwa is shown in the office looking very scared and doing something on Hwan's computer. Next morning when Hwan goes to office, she becomes happy knowing that her and Han's team has won the competition. Poor thing was just about to celebrate when suddenly the investigation team arrives and says her idea was stolen. They take her for investigation. Meanwhile, they also call Yoo-hyun for investigation. They had brought both of them for questioning one by one. Hwan and Yoo-hyun tried to explain their innocence, but these people were not ready to listen. When both came outside, Yoo-hyun saw Hwan worried and told her, "Auntie, you don't need to worry. As long as we're fine, nothing wrong can happen to us." When Hwan returned home, she saw that little Han-ai wasn't there. She panicked and started searching for her everywhere outside. She couldn't find her anywhere. When she returned home, she saw little Han-ai sitting inside eating noodles. Hwan scolded her, "When I told you not to go outside, why did you leave?" Little Han-ai said, "Why can't I go outside? I live in a house, not in a jail like you." A fight breaks out between them, and afterward Hwan goes outside. Meanwhile, Yoo-hyun was trying to find evidence to prove that he and Hwan hadn't stolen any idea. While he was seriously searching for proof, he began to suspect his aunt. He even asked his secretary, "Do you think my aunt is behind all this?" Poor guy had no idea the secretary himself was working with the aunt. On the other side, Ming, the aunt's son, finds out that his mom is involved in everything. He goes and asks her, "Why are you doing this to Yoo-hyun?" The aunt says, "Just calm down. Yes, I stole their idea and gave it to another company. Look, soon your uncle, my brother, will go blind. After that, who will manage the company? I will have to manage it." Ming realizes how wrong his mother's intentions are. He says, "I will go right now and tell everyone the truth about you." But she stops him and says, "Wait, son. First let me show you something." She shows him the recording from the day Lin Hua was doing something on Hwan's computer. She says, "If I didn't do it, then it was your wife." Meanwhile, Lin Hua had gone to Hwan's house to meet her. She also meets little Han-ai, and little Han-ai becomes very happy since the two were friends earlier. Lin Hua says, "Your daughter is exactly like you. It feels like I'm talking to you." Here, the misunderstanding they had in childhood gets cleared, and we learn that Lin Hua never tampered with Hwan's computer that night. Meanwhile, Yoo-hyun goes to meet his brother Ming and tells him, "I think aunt is behind all this." Ming replies, "Do you have any proof against my mom? If not, don't accuse her like that." Later, he goes to his mom and says, "I am with you." Actually, Ming deeply loves his wife and wants to protect her. That's why he agrees to support his mother. On the other side, when little Han-ai and Hwan reach home, they find their mother already sitting there. She sees both of them together and starts questioning, "Tell me, who is this girl?" She holds little Han-ai and asks, "Who are you?" Little Han-ai starts crying and calls her mom. Mei also arrives and hears this. A little later Mei says, "How is this possible? I can't believe it." Hwan tells her mom and Mei everything, that this girl is Hwan herself who came from the past. Auntie says, "Yes, she is my daughter. Would I not recognize my own child?" She comforts little Han-ai, who is crying. Meanwhile, the aunt, in the company, deliberately broadcasts the internal company chaos through a news channel. When the chairman sees the news, his condition gets worse. From the hospital, the staff calls Han. At the hospital, Ming is standing beside the chairman. The chairman's eyesight is completely gone. He cannot see anything now. Yoo-hyun reaches his dad and asks, "Dad, are you okay? Say something." But the chairman doesn't look at Yoo-hyun. Instead, he tells Ming to send Yoo-hyun outside. Ming tells Yoo-hyun, "Uncle is fine. You should leave." Yoo-hyun goes, and afterward the chairman tells Ming he must not find out. When his mother died, I saw how terribly broken he was. He won't be able to bear seeing me like this. Meanwhile, little Han-ai again asks everyone about her dad. Auntie and Mei get shocked. Hwan brings them outside and explains she is from the timeline where Dad was still alive. She doesn't know Dad has died. Auntie and Mei say, "Then we must be very careful." The next day, Hwan and Yoo-hyun get a call saying all allegations against them have been removed. No evidence was found against them, so they can come back to work. Both return to the company. But the aunt is furious. How could no evidence be found? She looks at her daughter-in-law Lin Hua and takes her aside. She says, "So you betrayed me." Lin Hua replies, "I'm sorry, mother-in-law, but I can't stoop that low." Yoo-hyun was back at work, but he still suspected that his aunt was doing something wrong, especially because the company was restructuring and many old employees were being removed. To discuss this, he goes to the hospital to see his dad, but learns that his dad is not in the hospital. He calls Ming, who says, the chairman has gone on a trip. Actually, the chairman had told Ming to hide everything from Yuhyun. Ming also notices that the secretary hasn't come to work for days. He finds the secretary's address and goes to his house. There he learns that the secretary's grandmother was very sick, so the secretary was taking care of her. Ming helps them, and the secretary feels guilty. The secretary thanks Yuhyun for helping him. Yuhyun asks, can you tell me the truth? You were working with my aunt, right? And all the mess happening in the company is because of her. This time, the secretary does not stay quiet and he says that yes, behind all of this, it was your aunt's hand. And he also apologizes to Yuhyun, saying he was helpless, which is why he had to follow the aunt's orders. Now moving ahead, Yuhyun had gone to the company at night for some work. There he overhears the aunt and Diyun talking that they want to remove the chairman from his position. Here Yuhyun also finds out that his dad has lost his eyesight. After learning all this, Yuhyun is extremely shocked. After that, he reaches Hwan's house. When Hwan returns home, she sees Yuhyun standing outside and asks, why are you standing out here? Come inside. She takes him in. Then today, for the first time, Yuhyun calls her by her name and says, Hwan, what do you think about me? Am I a good person? Hwan says, yes, you're a very good person. Yuhyun says, if I turn out to be someone different from what you believe, please don't hate me. I'm not a bad person. Hwan says, okay, calm down for now. Next day, Yuhyun follows Ming's car to see where his dad is. He finally finds out where his father has been staying. Seeing his dad suffering so much, he becomes very emotional from a distance. The scene changes. The aunt had arranged a shareholders meeting today to get the restructuring plan passed. But just then, Yuhyun enters and stands in front of everyone, saying, I am against this restructuring. The aunt says, it doesn't matter if you are against it. You're only the chairman's son. You don't have voting rights, so get out of here. But suddenly the chairman enters and says, I am also against it. Nothing like this is going to happen. He asks everyone to leave. Now again, we see the scene where Yuhyun had gone to his dad. Crying, he says, how could you do this? How could you fire me and the employees? The chairman says, who's firing anyone? What nonsense are you saying? Then Yuhyun tells him everything, that the aunt called a shareholders meeting today and is planning huge changes in the company. And yes, I also know that you have lost your eyesight. But why did you hide such a big thing from your own son? Do you think I wouldn't support you? I'm always with you. Yuhyun holds his dad's hand tightly and cries a lot. The chairman tries to calm him down. Again the scene changes. The aunt is shouting at her brother. How could you do this to me? I have done so much for this company. I will take this company. Meanwhile, the whole company finds out that the restructuring won't happen because the chairman's son has appeared. Everyone becomes curious. Who is the chairman's son? They go outside and see the chairman entering with his son. And that son was none other Yuhyun, the same employee working among them. Hwan is shocked. She can't believe it. She asks Linhua, is this true? Linhua says, yes, Yuhyun is part of our family and the chairman's son. Hwan cannot believe that the boy who was asking her for small amounts of money just yesterday is actually the son of such a big company's chairman. That night, Yuhyun goes to Hwan's house and sits beside her. Hani asks, are you joking with me? Yuhyun replies, this is not a joke. It's the truth. There are many more things that I still can't tell you right now. But trust me, I will tell you everything soon. He was holding Hwan's hand. But the aunt wasn't someone who would sit quietly. She called another shareholders meeting, saying that since the chairman can't see anymore, how can he run the company? She wanted to remove him from his position. When Yuhyun finds out about this, he talks to his dad's manager and asks, what should I do? The manager says, you must meet the shareholders and convince them to support you. Yuhyun goes to Hwan and tells her everything, the problems in the company, and that he has to convince the shareholder. Hwan agrees to help him. Then she gathers all the employees into a group and explains the entire situation. Everyone wants to support the chairman, so they agree to help Yuhyun. They form different teams and go to various shareholders, trying their best to win them over. On the other side, Anthony faces a new problem. Someone leaks his old photos showing that he had plastic surgery and used to be extremely rude. People say the innocence he shows today isn't real. Slowly his fans decrease and anti-fans increase. Poor Anthony becomes very stressed. Now the day of the shareholders meeting arrives. Ming's wife Linhua tells him, please don't do this. Support the chairman. Ming replies, do you know I'm doing all this only to protect you? When Lin Hua discovers the full truth, she says she didn't do anything wrong at all. Ming realizes the truth and Jia says, stop all this now. But Ming says, it's too late. I've gone too far. Meanwhile, little Han-ai secretly sits in the car, wanting to go with her mother. But she discovers that her mom has come to a memorial site. Not just anyone's, her father's memorial. Seeing this, she gets a huge shock. Her father is no longer alive. Hwan gets a phone call and rushes out. She doesn't even hear the meeting's result. Just then Yoo-hyun comes out and tells all the employees, we won. The chairman is not going anywhere. We find out that Ming himself presented all the evidence against his own mother to the shareholders, showing all the corruption she had done. In the end, he supported his uncle. Because of this, the shareholders did not remove the chairman. Meanwhile, both Hwan and Han-ai, the mother and daughter, are crying non-stop. Their mother tries to console them, saying, none of this was your fault. Your father didn't die because of you. She also apologizes to the older Hwan for never telling her the truth earlier. She hugs both of them to calm them down. Now Hwan returns to the company and learns that the chairman wasn't removed. She congratulates Yoo-hyun. At night, when the two return home, Yoo-hyun and Hwan had come to Hwan's house. Now on Hwan's old phone, a call comes again. She picks it up, and it is her dad speaking from the other side. Yoo-hyun is shocked and asks, you said your dad is no longer in this world, so whose call is this? Hwan calms him. Yoo-hyun becomes scared. Hwan's dad tells her, Han-ai, who has come from the past, doesn't have much time left now. You must find a way to send her back. The Hwan tells the little Han-ai everything. Then all of them go together to the shaman. The shaman says she has only 7 days left. She must return before that. Meanwhile, Anthony faces the media. He accepts all the accusations and apologizes publicly. After that, he goes to Hwan and says, I need to tell you something. Back in high school, when you rejected me, I got angry and told your dad that you were going for an audition. And that same day, when he was coming to stop you, he met with the accident. It was all my fault. I am responsible. Hwan says, no, it wasn't your fault. My mom explained everything to me. What had to happen, happened. No one is to blame. You don't need to consider yourself guilty. Anthony says, Hwan, you're truly a good person. Then he leaves. Next, it's shown that little Han-ai only has 2 days left, and they still haven't found any way to send her back. But today, in her dream, little Han-ai sees her dad. She sees the place where her dad bought his first camera. Nearby, there was a tunnel. Maybe that was the way. Next morning, Hwan finds a letter from little Han-ai saying she is leaving. She has found the way. Hwan cannot understand where the girl has gone or whether she truly found the path. She and Yoo-hyun begin searching for her, and eventually, they reach the tunnel. Little Han-ai explains to older Han-ai that this is the only way. Yoo-hyun also tells Hwan, today is the last day. There's nothing to lose by trying. Hwan agrees, but becomes extremely emotional. She holds little Han-ai's hand and walks her toward the other side of the tunnel, talking to her all along the way. Little Han-ai tells Hwan to live with confidence and to become strong like her. Then she disappears. She has returned to her own timeline. Next, we learn that Hwan herself has been narrating this story to us. She says Yoo-hyun has now joined the company. The chairman's health is not good, so he is resting, and he has given his position to Ming. She and Yoo-hyun have slowly become very good friends. Anthony has left acting and is now doing what suits him best. He has opened a restaurant. Today, Yoo-hyun gives Hwan flowers and asks, can we start something new together? Hwan accepts his confession, and Yoo-hyun becomes extremely happy. In the end, Hwan tells us, it was me myself who needed me the most. I wanted someone to fill me with the confidence I once had. Maybe that's why I came from the past to meet myself. She thanks her younger self, and with this, the drama ends.